Peterson. John?
The fight for the White House, at least on the Democratic side, could come down to superdelegates. Some are party leaders, including former presidents, also former congressional leaders, all current members of Congress, and all Democratic governors, also superdelegates. And a small number of supers are chosen at state party conventions. All told, there are 796. So far, 224 have told CNN that they're going to support Hillary Clinton. 135 say they're supporting Barack Obama. That means that 437 are up for grabs. And two of those superdelegates up for grabs join us now. Sam Spencer is Maine's Democratic National Committeeman, and Nancy Larson is a Democratic superdelegate from Minnesota. Good morning to both of you. Sam, let's start with you. What is life like as a superdelegate these days?
Good morning, John. We're getting a lot of unexpected attention. I'm receiving calls from all across the country from prominent national Democrats on both sides. I had a chance to talk to Hillary Clinton on Saturday when she was here in Maine. I'm also hearing from a lot of Maine Democrats who feel strongly on the issue.
So what are they saying to you when they make these phone calls or they see you in person?
Well, a lot of Maine Democrats are asking me to support either Senator Clinton or Senator Obama, but a lot of them are asking me to hold out and allow actual voters who voted in primaries and caucuses to decide this contest. I'm very uncomfortable with the idea that superdelegates could be decisive in this contest.
All right, well, let's talk more about that in just a couple of minutes here. Nancy Larson, let's go to you because I'm sure that you've received many of the same phone calls and entreaties from the campaigns. What's the difference between the way that the Hillary Clinton campaign approaches you and the way that the Barack Obama campaign approaches you?
The Barack Obama campaign has been much more grassroots, hearing more from people in the state, lots of emails, very few phone calls. And it's different in the Hillary campaign. I've been getting calls from high-profile people, including all the Clintons.
And so, what are they saying to you on both sides here when you say that one is grassroots and the other one is much more sort of from the campaign higher echelon? What's the difference in the message that they're giving to you here, or the pleas that they are sending you?
I think they're all trying to say why they're electable, which one will be better elected, and then which one will be the better president once they are elected.
So, Sam, let's get back to your idea here that you say that you're uncomfortable with superdelegates deciding the nominee. They were created by the Democratic Party after the divisive 1980 campaign so that they could be tiebreakers. If that's what they were created for, and they were used as such in 1984 by Walter Mondale, why the discomfort with that process?
I think the best people to decide who our nominee should be actual voters in primary and caucuses, and I think they're the best people to make the decision.
Right.
I think superdelegates are somewhat outdated, and it's not the most democratic way of doing things.
And Nancy, what's your opinion on that whole thing?
Well, I think this was never set up. They always thought they would avert a disaster, a political disaster. They never anticipated that we would have two superstars locked in a dead heat. And so I think there's no playbook for this. We're all kind of trying to find our way through this and figure out what happened. So I'm hoping the decision gets made before we have to step in.
Well, Sam Spencer, there are indications that that may not be the case, so it may come down to you. You may have to cast your vote. We're asking folks this morning on our quick vote question whether superdelegates should vote A, according to the results in their state, B, according to the national results, or if they should do their own thing. What would you do if it comes down to that?
Well, as Nancy says, this is sort of unexpected and a unique situation. We're all trying to work our ways through it. There are many ways of looking at the issue. I believe the best thing to do is to allow all the primary and caucuses to be held. Hopefully that will mean that that voters will select a nominee. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, people like Nancy and I will have a lot of sleepless nights.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Nancy, how would you vote should it come down to it? Would you go with the results in your state there of Minnesota, the national results, or you would make up your own mind about who you wanted to support?
I will not make up my own mind, that's for sure. I'll look at the state first and then the nation. But I don't think any of us want to be spoilers and overturn what's happening. I think it's going to be very difficult if we get down to that point.
And Nancy, just before we go here, what is it a mistake for those superdelegates who are already out there pledged to a particular candidate?
I'm not going to say anyone else is a mistake. I think they're in a really tough position. I'm in an easier position.
All right. Well, Sam, what do you think about it?
I think party leaders have a role to play in the nomination process. I just hope ultimately the voters will decide who our nominee is.
Right. But should these folks have come out already and said who they're for?
I think it's perfectly appropriate to endorse people. I just feel uncomfortable with the idea that superdelegates could play a decisive role in the election. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
All right, well, we'll keep watching, obviously, closely and see how this all plays out. Sam Spencer from Maine, Nancy Larson from Minnesota. Good to talk to you this morning. Hope you folks get some sleep before those sleepless nights creep in.
We'll need it.
Thank you, John.
And again, we want to know what you think. What should influence the superdelegates' vote? Right now, 65% of you say they should follow the results in their own state. 22% say they should follow the national results, and 13% say they should do their own thing. Cast your vote at CNN.com. We'll tally your votes throughout the morning. Well, some interesting opinions there.
Very interesting.
They don't like the idea.
And vote. Go to CNN.com.